Hello everyone, it's SpawnPoiint and today I'm going to be showing you LG's 75-inch Mini LED TV, which is massive. It's their latest 2022 QNED 86, and it combines some awesome movie watching features like 4K and Dolby Vision IQ, alongside everything that you need for gaming. That includes HDMI 2.1, VRR, 120Hz, and LG's Game Optimiser mode. Pair this with a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X and you've got a huge TV that's bright and ticks most of the boxes. On top of that, it is currently on sale, which I have linked to below if you want to check it out. Today, I'll get this unboxed, set it up, and we'll go over my first impressions of this TV. Any questions at all, please drop those below, otherwise here's to another massive TV unboxing to enjoy. And just before I open this up, you'll notice that LG have kept with their new minimal box design. We've already seen this across a lot of their products earlier this year. So unlike their previous models where it's covered with a huge colourful image on one side, they've gone for this plain packaging instead. And here are the box measurements in case you need them. Inside we get a two-part stand, which I will set up in a minute, and a bag full of accessories. This includes the manuals and warranty information, some cable ties, the remote control, and finally some batteries. Now, although this TV can be wall mounted using the VESA holes, I'll be using the provided stand. And this comes in two parts, so attach the feet to the back piece with just the 4 screws, and voila, we're now ready to install it on the back of the TV. You can either lay the TV flat on a table, or as I've done, use the packaging to create a kind of makeshift table. Now just fit the bracket to the back, screw it in, and we're ready to lift this TV up. And a quick look at the available connections. It's good to see that we still have an optical out port, then there are 4 HDMI ports. Now 2 of these are HDMI 2.0 and 2 are HDMI 2.1. So that's perfect for the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, where you want to make the most of the 4K and 120Hz support. Unfortunately, one of these ports are also labelled eARC. So although that's great news, it means you're going to lose one of the 2.1 ports to your soundbar or your AVR. Then there's a LAN port, a satellite and cable port, and a total of 2 USB-A ports. The power plug is still attached to the TV, so feeding it through your wall might be an issue. But if you don't mind unscrewing the small panel next to it, you can actually unplug it this way. So it's not ideal, but it is a workaround if you need it. When it comes to cable management, well, the back of the stand does have this very simple trunking solution built in. Just hide your cables inside, pop the cover on, and it'll keep them out of sight. And as mentioned before, if you want to wall mount it, well, you can use the 400 by 400 VESA holes. Just make sure you have a bracket or an arm that can support the weight. Now, it's hard to get excited about the design of a TV, as let's be honest, most TVs kind of look the same, but this QNED actually looks pretty nice. So the frame and the stand have this really dark grey, almost gunmetal look to it. So it's not quite black or silver like we've seen on a lot of other TVs. The bezel is also very thin on the 3 sides, only the bottom part or the chin is thicker. And this also has the QNED branding on the bottom right corner. As for the stand, I like the look of this over the normal feet that you see. Yes, it takes up more room and you cannot fit a soundbar in front of it, but it means you don't have to have a unit underneath that matches the width of the TV. So at the start of today's video, I mentioned that this is more than just a TV for movies. It's also one of the most capable TVs out there for gaming. Now, you might say, who's going to play games on a 75-inch TV? Or no one's going to be playing games like Warzone or Call of Duty on here. Well, I do. Sure, it's big, and if you're sitting 3 feet from it, you're going to be snapping your head left and right. But assuming you're sitting 8 to 10 feet from it, this will be awesome for games. You've obviously got your story-driven games where you'll sit back, relax, and just enjoy the whole immersive experience. This alone makes any game feel like a movie. It's like having a cinema in your living room. And it's one of the biggest reasons I still game on a TV. You really can't beat this experience. But there's nothing stopping you from using this TV for faster paced games too. So most weekends I will jump on Warzone with my mates, either sitting at my desk or whatever TV that I'm using at the time. And the fact this TV has HDMI 2.1 ports, 120 frames per second support, and VRR means it is capable of running any PS5 or Xbox Series X game that you throw at it. And this TV is fast, there is no lag at all. So if you are firing a gun or pulling the trigger, you will get an instant response. So a couple of years ago, LG introduced the Game Optimiser mode, and this gives us more control over the picture settings for a game's genre or just to see what the frame rate a game is running at. So here I can see if VRR is running on a game, which essentially means the game will run at a variable refresh rate instead of fixed, and it will even show the current frame rate. Of course, if you don't have a PC or console to hook up to it, you can use cloud gaming. There's Nvidia's GeForce Now app, and that lets you stream and play the latest PC games straight to the TV. All you need to do is connect a controller to the TV via Bluetooth. I've not had any experience with cloud gaming, but it's definitely something I want to try out this year. Right, now I've used and tested a lot of different TVs over the last couple of years, and switching a new TV on for the first time never gets old. And coming from using a 77-inch OLED every single day, seeing a QNED TV will always give a totally different experience. So QNED is essentially an LED or an LCD TV, it's just that it's the ultimate evolution of what we've seen before. It's supposed to be brighter, has deeper blacks and better colour. Well, out of the box this TV is bright, it defaults to 100 in the standard picture settings. But the first thing that I did was switch the energy saving mode off, switched over to ISF Expert Bright and lowered the brightness very slightly. And during the day, this is where this TV really shines, especially if you're watching it in a well lit or bright room. And as for the picture quality and the colours themselves, this screen does look really impressive. It's a 4K display, but I think the fact that it's so bright, the images look clean and vibrant. So any photos, movies or games that have loads of colour is going to look awesome on here. It also comes with Dolby Vision IQ and HDR support, so I tested a few different movies out to see how they would perform, and as you would expect they obviously look great. Motion is another thing to mention. So in the settings you can tweak the motion to be off entirely or full blown soap opera level of smoothness, but generally it will perform well if you have it off or very low. Of course, for some movies you could use the filmmaker mode, and this turns off motion smoothing as well as a few other features to give a true original movie experience, kind of as the director intended it to look. Now this is a mini LED TV, so it doesn't have the infinite black levels of an OLED, you just cannot compete with that, but it does have precision dimming. This means that areas of the screen are controlled to switch on and off to display the image, and at the same time it's providing better contrast and black levels. Watching it at night is where you would normally expect to see issues with the black levels, but with the right lighting, the black levels look great for an LED TV. But there are definitely times where you're going to see blooming around white objects or on a black background. For me, this is most noticeable if there are subtitles in a dark movie. The text has a sort of halo around it. It's not something that annoys me personally, and it's sometimes very hard to even spot, but it is something that I wanted to mention. You will notice this more if watching it in a dark room with no lights on at all, although generally speaking, watching this at night still looks awesome. But the fact this 2022 model has the Alpha 7 Gen 5 processor is able to analyse the content on screen for automatic optimization, essentially enhancing the picture. Viewing angles is another big thing that I often mention in these videos. I know most people will sit straight on, so it might not be a concern, but if you do need to watch it off center or your seating isn't straight on with the TV, you'll be pleased to know that you can still see what's on the screen. You're going to lose a little bit of contrast as you move off center, but the colors never look washed out. Obviously the way this TV performs is completely different to an OLED, so if you want to see a mini LED TV versus an OLED TV video, or which one I think is actually better, just let me know in the comments. They both of course have their pros and cons, so it might be worth comparing them both. Unlike with most of the recent LG TVs, we've got the latest WebOS installed. This gives us a full page home screen with all of the apps in a tile layout. It feels snappy and there's definitely no lag here. And we've got all of the normal streaming apps you would expect to see. I mainly use Netflix, Disney and Apple TV, but there are loads in the App Store as well. We get the Magic Wand remote again, so waving it around the screen will let you select what you need to without having to press the arrow keys. So nothing new here, this hasn't changed for the last few years. Oh, and it's worth mentioning this TV does come with speakers. It's a 2.1 channel setup, so you've got two 10-watt speakers plus a 20-watt woofer. For a screen this size, they're not really going to blow you away. But for an entry-level mini LED TV, you're going to want to pick up a soundbar or some external speakers. But take a listen to this to see what you think.
Most wanted art thief in the world. Special Agent John Hartley, FBI.
So my final thoughts on the QNED 86 LG 75-inch mini LED TV. Well, for the price, which I've linked to below, this is a lot of TV for the money. It's bright, it's packing all of the latest gaming focused features, and it's massive. I've said this before, if you're wanting a TV to use in a brightly lit room or during the day, QNED is likely a better choice than OLED. But saying that, I still think it's worth doing a comparison of LG's latest QNED TV against the OLED, where I can give my thoughts on the two and the pros and the cons. Now, let me know one movie or game that I should definitely play on here, something you would insist on watching if you were coming around tonight to watch a movie. And drop a big TV in the comments and I will give you a thumbs up for staying right till the end. And if you enjoyed today's video, check out my 2022 room tour, as this could be the last room tour you'll see from me in this house. Thanks for watching, please like, sub and follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Until next time.